Byron Donalds. Okay, there's an article about Byron Donalds we're going to go through. And, of course, we all like Byron Donalds. And he's like at the top of the list of everyone's favorite for VP with Trump this time around. He's very good job here in Florida. We love him in Florida. He's a congressman from here in Florida. But there's an article today that brings up some things that weren't 1,000 years ago with Byron Donalds. Go back a few years, but not that many years, of some things that he said and has done, some of them involving President Trump. We're going to go through this. Now, before I go through this article, I want to cite where it's from, and it's from CNN, okay? So CNN are Trump haters. They are, deep state and everything else over there. So full disclosure, this article is from CNN. Mm-hmm. I did look up some of these things to verify. These things are verifiable. But, obviously CNN is trying to cause mega division.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go through this and we'll talk about it. This is a CNN article. Byron Donalds, potential VP pick, once attacked Trump, praised outsourcing and privatizing entitlements. Well, I don't care about privatizing the entitlements and outsourcing, but let's find out what he said about Trump. Florida Republican Rep Byron Donalds, a Donald Trump loyalist, and one of Trump's most trusted surrogates, is widely viewed to be on Trump's short list of vice presidential contenders. But in 2011, 13 years ago, but not that long ago. I guess how long ago it is depends on how old you are.
Are you sure it was 2011?
So it says right here, but in 2011.
Well, Trump wasn't even running or anything.
No, back in those days.
But he was just a regular.
No, back in those days, he was talking about asking for the birth certificate.
Oh, then, yeah.
And then he started talking about running. And then, But in 2011, Donalds posted to Facebook celebrating Trump's decision not to challenge Barack Obama for the White House. Because remember, he was talking about running and everything else.
Yes.
He used to talk about it on The Apprentice. He asked Nene Leakes once. He says, Nene, should I run for president? And she said, yes.
Yes.
I bet do you think she voted for him, Nene Leakes? He made her rich. I mean, Trump won't run, thank God, Donalds wrote in one Facebook post in May of 2011.
Wow.
Why thank God? I mean, Romney ended up running then. He was the nominee then. Remember Romney? Mm-hmm. And in 2011, I was supporting Trump, and I was taking calls live on the air, and all these people were hating on Trump, Republicans, and I was talking about Trump and wanting Trump to run then. Those of you who listened to me for a long time. CNN's K-File unearthed numerous examples. I love all this investigation they do. He got Biden. His kids are junkies. They got cocaine in the White House. They don't anything in the K-File about the cocaine in the White House. CNN's K-File, that must be like their CIA computer terminal they have, unearthed numerous examples of Byron Donalds directly criticizing Trump in social media posts and interviews in 2011 and 12. When he was an outspoken Tea Party activist running unsuccessfully for a seat in Congress. Byron Donalds attacked Trump's stances on trade, called Trump out for his birtherism comments about Obama. Trump is a huge distraction. This is Byron Donalds, and cares more about himself than the country, in my opinion, but I could care less about him, Donalds wrote in a Facebook post in April 2011 when discussing Trump's claims that Obama's birth certificate was fake. I don't question his religion or his citizenship, Donalds said. Quite a few Democrats and liberals still think Bush caused 9/11. Trump is a self-promoter yelling about 25% tariffs on China, Donalds said in the same string of Facebook posts. In other public comments from the same time, Byron Donalds argued against Trump's calls to boost U.S. manufacturing, saying it was cheaper to make clothes in China than Michigan. Instead, he favored privatizing entitlement programs such as Social Security and Medicare, which would be better as a voucher along with raising the retirement age. A spokesman for Byron Donalds defended him in a comment to CNN. President Trump is considering Byron as his running mate because of the congressman's steadfast support for the 45th president and his historic policy agenda. The fact that these decade-old posts are now resurfacing in the middle of running mate deliberations is weak, but typical of CNN. Donalds is far from the only Republican vice presidential contender to have criticized Trump J.D. Vance called him a moral disaster in a direct message in 2017 that was made public in 21.
He's turned out to be very good. So I'm not going to hold things
they just
people
finished.
said over a decade ago
Elise Stefanik
against them. I go by what they're doing now.
Elise Stefanik criticized Trump.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Of course, little Marco Rubio, and it goes on. Yeah, now this is what I'll say about that, okay? The most important thing that we all want, again, I don't care who Trump's – if President Trump picked Hillary Clinton, I'd still vote for Trump. I don't care who he picks as vice president. I know that's extreme, but you get the point. I want Trump. I don't care who he picks for vice president. But it's important for him to have people around him that are loyal. And if he picks someone who is not loyal, that could cause us a lot of problems down the road. And whoever his vice president is, a very good chance of being the second MAGA president, okay? Yeah. So it is important. Now, most of these things were 13 years ago. And, you know, a lot has happened since 2011.
Was he even in...
He was running for Congress. He was not in Congress.
He wasn't a congressman yet.
No. You know, I know 13 years is a long time. It's not that long. But, you know, I think that we cannot hold him accountable for that.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, Trump is, I love Trump, but he does say things sometimes that are controversial and get people upset.
Not me. I love everything he says.
And, no, I know. I do too. But he's has always been in the news since we were in high school.
And Byron Donald's only 32 years old then, too. So
yeah, I mean, you know, people do change a lot in 13 years. And
especially at that young age.
I don't know why he was defending Barack Obama about the birth certificate thing. That's a little strange to me. But I'm curious to know how he feels about that now. And maybe he just kind of had this political snob attitude, like, who does he think he is interjecting himself into politics just because he's got money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it came more like that attitude. Like, you know, he should stay in his own lane kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll respond to this because this just came out today.
He's going to have to.
It was in the Daily Mail. I'm sure he'll respond.
He's going to have to.
But I go by what people say more. I mean, what people do more than what they say. You could say anything. How many people have said they support Trump and they turn around and stab him in the back?
Exactly.
I mean, you go by what people do more than anything. Actions speak louder than words. And there is nothing Byron Donalds has done or even said as of late since Trump's been in office that has upset me.
Not that I've seen.
Or been against Trump. And as long as he supports him publicly and votes the right way, I think that's all that matters. I mean, that's what matters to me is what he's been doing. Something 13 years ago on a Facebook post, and people post things. It's like a photograph. Sometimes it's like a snapshot of their feelings in the moment.
Yeah, it
doesn't necessarily mean that's how they are going to feel forever, or how they felt 6 months prior. Or, you know what I mean? That's why you got to be careful what you put online.
On Twitter, in Twitter in particular, X, I don't really say much on Twitter. I use Twitter constantly. Mm-hmm. I mostly just tweet articles that I've read that I'm going to talk about. I rarely make comments on things. Okay, sometimes you're on my Twitter. You'll sometimes write things on my Twitter. Because Kathy's my social media manager. So some of the things on my social media, Kathy does. So
sometimes.
Most of the time, if there's something written, especially if everything's spelled correctly, Kathy tweeted it.
That's true.
If it's misspelled, I probably did. But here's the thing. The birth certificate thing, just want to talk about that for a minute. The birth certificate thing was started by Hillary Clinton's campaign during the Democrat primary in 2008, not the Republicans. And Obama never produced a birth certificate.
Nope.
And then Donald Trump started asking for it, and then he produced something that he said was his birth certificate, okay? So he sent somebody out to Hawaii to get it. They came back with a colored photocopy of a document they said was his birth certificate, handed it out to the press. He never showed the press his birth certificate with a raised seal. And I'll tell you, my mother called me today, and she was looking for her birth certificate and she couldn't find it. And so she's sending to Ohio for her birth certificate.
Right.
And she asked if I had mine because she couldn't find mine. When we did our first, actually it was before I did the first cruise because I went to Peru with my friend. I had to get a passport. I don't know, it was almost like 18 years ago. And I had to send for my birth certificate. I was born.
Right.
I lived in Ohio and Florida, but I was born in Rhode Island. My dad was in the Marines and stationed at a naval base in Rhode Island when I was born. And I had to send to Rhode Island to get my passport to get a certified copy of my birth certificate that has the raised seal on it of the state. Obama never produced that, okay? Never. And that's pretty significant. Never produced that. Here, my mother, she's going to go on. She wants to take one of those river cruises in Europe, and
my parents have done those.
Yeah,
they're nice. And
so she's looking for a birth certificate to get a passport. She's got to get the one with the raised seal to get the passport.
Right.
Obama never produced the birth certificate with the raised seal. They gave him the country, the military, the nuclear football and everything else. And
even his wife said Kenya was his home country.
Well, the
and
controversy.
His half brother said he was born there too.
Well, there's a controversy with. I'll tell you guys what the real controversy is with Obama and the birth certificate. Okay, because it's kind of been lost.
Yeah.
There was a newspaper and baby birth announcement for Obama in Hawaii when Yuri was born. But it was believed. See, his mother moved to Indonesia for her husband, that Lolo Soetoro guy, and Obama went by Barry Soetoro for a long time.
Yes,
and his mother. These documents were found. Obama's mother registered him for kindergarten in Indonesia. In Indonesia, they ask all kinds of questions, including religion. And Obama's mother wrote down Islam for his religion on his school registration form for kindergarten in Indonesia. And it is believed, and this was sourced, that Obama may have been adopted by his stepfather, who was an Indonesian national, Lolo Soetoro, and became an Indonesian citizen. And his mother did this because he was a little baby, little kid, that his mother got him Indonesian citizenship, and which would cancel out his eligibility to be president. That his U.S. citizenship was revoked.
It seemed that there was some kind of cover-up.
There was all kinds of things about that.
Yeah.
And those are legitimate questions. So when people talk about the birth certificate, guys, it's not a joke, and it's not something just to laugh. Obviously it's years later. It's done. He was president twice. It's not, but I think one day the truth of that will finally be known. We may not be around then. It may be 100 years from now. But it is legitimate. It is significant. It's not a joke, and people shouldn't laugh about the birth certificate. He never produced it, and these questions about the adoption by his stepfather are relevant. And we may have had an American president who wasn't an American. It's quite possible with Obama. Now, so back to this stuff with Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds was 32 years old. To me, that's a kid. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. And he was just getting into politics. And that
was he married yet?
I don't know. I don't know what he was then. Yeah. But I'm not going to hold him responsible for these things he said 14 years ago when he was 32. Now, if he had done things, if he had been betraying Trump while Trump was in office and things like this, that'd be different. But even Marco Rubio has come along. A lot of people like Marco Rubio, who's very good now. He was not before, right? They were in that political class, and they really did not think that Donald Trump could govern. They really didn't. They bought that thing. Oh, he's a Kardashian. He's a reality
Marco
star.
Rubio is in Miami, and Miami turned red, not because of DeSantis, because of Trump. And I think Marco Rubio has had a change of heart because he is around a lot of Cubans in Miami that like Trump. Yeah. And he's in that world, and I think he sees how people feel down there, and it's opened his eyes.
And also, you
know what I mean? I don't think he's in D.C. too much. He seems to do a lot in Florida. I see him on the news. He's here in Florida a lot. And I think he's very in tune. And I think running for president, it was a humiliating and humbling experience for him because He definitely seems more humble than he was.
And
he grew up a lot.
Marco Rubio, yes, you just look at him out. He's matured.
Yeah.
You
could tell. When we see him, you could tell.
When he ran in the first campaign, he was immature. And now he's like a statesman. And Byron Donalds, I don't know. I didn't see him back then, you know. He was in Florida, but not our part. He's obviously grown up too.
Well, look at all the people look at Mike Pence, who did nothing but praise Trump over and over and over again. And he was like Brutus. I mean, you know, he just turned around and betrayed him.
Yeah.
So I go more by, like I said, the action, what they do, how they act now. But it's an interesting revelation. It's a little surprising. You know, but I'm curious as to his response. Well, but I wouldn't call him a never Trumper, would you?
No. Okay. No, he was never. Now
he was a never Trumper 13 years ago.
I wouldn't count that. I wouldn't count that because Trump wasn't running yet. He never was. He never ran then. It was just talk. He didn't actually announce. He doesn't. Okay. Now, a miraculous, amazing thing happened in New York today. Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, was denied entry to the wake of Officer Diller. And
they are pissed.
And, you know, this is an amazing thing because this is 2 days in a row the Democrats have been denied by whoever from the funeral and now the wake. Tomorrow they're burying him, I believe, tomorrow with for the family, like a family thing. People in this really shows you where people's hearts and minds are in New York. They are so sick of these pro-criminal, pro-crime Democrats.
Trump really, I think he can flip New York. I think it is primed.
It's certainly in play.
And ready to go. I think he should do a rally. I saw a video of people, they were interviewing people in the Bronx, which is AOC's district, all praising Trump. All black people, by the way, praising Trump. We love Trump, this and that. I think he needs to do I think he's going to. At Madison Square Gardens, could you imagine how flipped out the media would be? I mean, this would send them over the edge. Again, if Trump sold out Madison Square Gardens,
beautiful.
The middle of New York City, his hometown, and it was all MAGA people.
Beautiful.
And, I mean, it would freak them out if he could flip New York. He has to flip New York City. And once because that's where most of those blue votes are coming from.
Yeah.
And if he can get that momentum going and get New York and Florida, it's done. It's done.
Oh, I mean,
New York is huge. That would be amazing. But, you know, it was funny. I was watching an interview with Alina Habba on that guy's show.
Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah. And she was talking about, he was asking about the court case in Atlanta and all this stuff and how the appellate court reduced the sentence and the money.
Yeah.
Or in whatever case that was, New York or something. Anyway, New York. And she said, I don't understand how the left cannot see that everything they're doing is hurting them. She said, I don't understand how they can't see this, that the more they go after this guy, they're helping him. And I said to you, because they're so focused on destroying Trump. They're not, they don't see the forest for the trees. They don't see the big picture. They don't care about what's going to happen 6 months from now. All they want is him in jail. That is all they want. It's their fantasy. Like they were fantasizing. They think they can manifest this stuff. They think if they talk about it, think about it, that they can actually make it happen because they are control freaks and they think that they're just so powerful. They really do believe this. They think if we will it and if we talk about it enough, it will actually happen. No, God is in control, not you. It doesn't matter. I don't believe in manifesting stuff. I think that's a bunch of BS.
No.
But they think like the thing with his property, you know, they actually probably would sit around at a dinner party and visualize while they're meditating on Trump's properties being taken from him and how that would look and this and that. I'm not kidding. Yeah. And they think they can will it to happen.
That's right, they do.
And that is all they care about. They don't see the big picture. They don't see how they're hurting the party and how people are turning on them and how they're not in touch with the American people at all. They don't care. They are just laser focused on getting Trump in jail. That is what they want. They want him behind bars, and it's not happening. And everything's falling apart. So what do? Okay, that's done. Let's move on to the next. It's like one scheme after another. one fails. Okay, what else we got? What else can we do? What else can we get this guy on? This is all they think about. Mm-hmm. They're obsessed. It's beyond an obsession. It's a sickness.
Well, this week, I keep talking about the Trump miracle. This week was amazing. On Monday morning, they thought he was going to be broke. They were going to take all of his cash, and he was going to start selling his properties. They were going to get seized. And here we are at the end of the week. According to Forbes, Donald Trump is worth more money than Mark Cuban and George Soros.
Crazy.
He's richer than Soros, richer than Mark Cuban. According to Forbes, and the Forbes estimation of Trump's wealth is below what it really is. They're not factoring in everything he owns and everything. It's absolutely amazing what has happened this week. It is miraculous. We're going to take a quick break and be back.
Men, are you tired of looking tired? You can turn your tired eyes into a vibrant and refreshed look with a specially formulated under-eye cream for men at Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. This anti-aging formula is designed to repair and protect your eyes against the common signs of aging. Dark circles, puffiness, and those pesky crow's feet gone. With Meditati, you'll say goodbye to those tired eyes and hello to a youthful appearance. It's packed with peptides, vitamin C, jojoba oil, green tea, CoQ10, and other essential ingredients. This formula will keep your under eyes bright and refreshed. It also keeps your skin hydrated with the highest quality natural and organic ingredients. It's crafted by skincare experts, and this non-greasy, lightweight formula absorbs quickly and efficiently, nourishing the skin around your eyes. So if you're tired of puffiness and wrinkles, go right now to Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. Don't miss out on this chance to give your eyes the care they deserve, because you and your eyes deserve it. Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. Are you tired of bland meals? Say goodbye to those tasteless, boring dinners and hello to flavor with Right On Time All-Purpose Seasoning. Right On Time Seasoning is made with a blend of savory, dried herbs and spices. This seasoning is perfect for chicken, steak, seafood, vegetables, and more. Right On Time was born in 2019 out of a passion for flavor and convenience. This seasoning is not only delicious, but it's also low in sodium with no added sugar and 0 calories. Right On Time will add a burst of flavor to each and every dish. Whether you're cooking for yourself or your family, Right On Time Seasoning will make your taste buds dance with delight. Available at Walmart.com and RightOnTime.com. That's RITE on THYME. Also follow them on TikTok and Facebook at right.on.time. There you'll find recipe ideas, cooking tips, and more. Right On Time Seasoning. Flavor you could see and smell at Walmart.com and RightOnTime.com. Are you tired of the same old fitness routines? Do you feel like you're stuck in a cycle of disappointment? You're not alone, but there is help, and you can break free from the ordinary in the book from author Joseph A. McClellan, Emotiflow, Mind Over Body Fitness, available on Amazon. In this must-read and life-changing book, you'll discover the revolutionary 7-step Emotiflow method. It's a groundbreaking approach rooted in neuroscience that will transform not just your body, but your mind. The author's method isn't just about exercising. It's about rewiring your brain for success and creating lasting fitness habits. With a focus on neuroplasticity and subconscious programming, Emotiflow promises more than just a toned physique. It promises a total transformation in your confidence, your health, and your happiness. Say goodbye to inconsistency and hello to a new mindset that empowers you to achieve your fitness goals. Are you ready to target not just your muscles, but your brain? Then order your copy of Emotiflow, Mind Over Body Fitness from author Joseph A. McClellan. Available on Amazon, and learn more on the author's website, Emotiflow.com. Get fit for life with neuroscience. Emotiflow.com. Are you in need of a little encouragement? Are you searching for a spark of intrigue? Could you use a good laugh? Then check out Genesis-Revelation.life. Genesis-Revelation.life is your go-to destination for unique and heartfelt designs that resonate with your spirit. Picture this: thousands of meticulously crafted items, each one with a personal touch, from the whimsical to the profound. The designs at Genesis-Revelation.life cover a wide spectrum, ensuring there's something for everyone. Whether you're drawn to the warmth of Scripture, scripture or prefer non-scripture items, they've got you covered. T-shirts, leggings, totes, headbands, crossbody bags, blankets, journals, napkins, aprons, coasters, drinkware, and that's just the beginning. But what sets Genesis-Revelation.life apart from the rest is simple. A sprinkle of humor, a dash of intrigue, and a layer of comfort. Each design tells a story, seeking to connect with you on a deeper level. In a world that often feels impersonal, Genesis-Revelation.life stands out as a place where every item is designed with heart and soul. Tell your story with these unique designs. Shop now and let your spirit shine. And make sure to share the store on all your social media so your friends can discover Genesis-Revelation.life too. Genesis-Revelation.life, where every design is a connection waiting to happen. Start shopping right now. Genesis-Revelation.life.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
I can't play this on the podcast because, well, there's two reasons. There's music I can't play on the podcast, and there's also a lot of it's visual. But if you go to my Twitter, my ex, Brian Craig Show, you can see this. Joy Reid, she took her wig off and put a shower cap on and made this bizarre video about the DEI, diverse. It's DEI, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion,
Something
whatever.
Like that. The new word for affirmative action.
Yeah, and she made this bizarre video that you've got to see. Go to my Twitter. I just want to say Louis Gossett Jr. died today.
Oh, I was wondering why James Woods tweeted about him.
Yeah, and
they were in Diggstown together.
And I got to tell you, my favorite Louis Gossett Jr. movie, of course, is Iron Eagle.
Yes, I knew you were
with
going to
Jason
say
Gedrick and Chappie. I love that movie, Iron Eagle. The soundtrack is by Queen. Tim Thomerson is in it.
Yeah,
from
I love Tim
Trancers,
Thomerson.
and you know the thing about I just want to say this about Louis Gossett Jr. I think he was 87 years old. He was a great actor, and
he was.
Of course, he won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor from An Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah, he was very good in that.
And you go and you watch Louis Gossett Jr. We just not long ago, a few months ago, we watched Jaws 3, and he's in that. Where Jaws
I like Jaws 3.
Yeah, and not only do I like Jaws 3, Louis Gossett Jr. is very good in Jaws 3.
Yeah. Takes place in Florida, that movie.
Yeah, it was at SeaWorld in Orlando,
Yeah.
I think is where they filmed it, and Jaws is in SeaWorld. Louis Gossett Jr. was a great American actor, and you can go back and watch him in anything. He was always very good. I love Iron Eagle. In fact, maybe we'll watch it this week. Not the Iron Eagle 2 and 3, it's just the first one. Okay?
Yeah, Iron Eagle 1 is good.
The first one's very good. Jason Gedrick. Whatever happened to Jason Gedrick?
I'm sure he wonders that.
Yeah, he's probably asking himself that. But this thing with Joy Reid, this new thing that they're doing in Hollywood, where they're casting based on the check marks, or like in Washington, like Jean-Pierre.
Yeah.
Louis Gossett Jr., I was surprised to see this today. I never thought about it. He is the first black actor to win Best Supporting Actor. And that was like in 1982. And I'm surprised it took so long to win Best Supporting Actor for a black actor. I was very surprised by that. And but he was great. He didn't get these jobs because he clicked a check mark. He got an Officer and a Gentleman because he was great.
Right. I mean,
you know,
I don't understand affirmative action or DEI or whatever, because when you have that, then anytime, you know, somebody of color wins something or gets cast now, you just think, well, they're just filling a quota. They're not really there because they have any talent or necessarily any skill. I mean, they're just doing it because, you know, they're all woke and they want to make sure that they have, you know, certain people and this and that. And it's like a token. You know, they used to talk about the token black on TV shows.
Now they have the token white.
Now they have the token white, but now they just have more tokens. And I don't think of black people in that way at all, but that's how Hollywood thinks of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think that's a good way to do a movie. Look, I have like Bridgerton, I like that show because it has a multicultural cast and race really isn't a major issue. They mention it once in a while, which I don't think they even should. But it's it's a multicultural cast, and race is not even brought up very much. And I think that's fine. I don't know why it has to be always an issue in every movie. If you're going to have a diverse cast, that's fine with me. But then why make like some big social justice pronouncement about it?
Joy Reid,
just make a good movie.
Joy Reid was, she's always
she's projecting her own bigotry. She's just a bigot.
Yeah, she's always talking about this DEI thing. And I had Fox on because I was watching this coverage about Trump at the funeral for the police officer yesterday, and one of them said, "Would you want to fly on an airline that was DEI Airlines? Who would fly on that airline? No one. It'd be empty. They'd have nobody. Maybe some liberal snowflakes would fly that are stupid to try to prove do some virtue signaling.
All I know is everything liberals do is stupid and makes no sense.
No one. If you started an airline and it was DEI Airlines, no one would fly that.
What do you think is going on with Boeing? I mean, what is going on with that company?
The guy that runs it's a freak. That I don't know. Now I want to. I just saw this a little bit ago. The RNC, which is now being run by the Trumps. Lara Trump is, somebody, they called me yesterday and they said she's not, she's the coach. The guy that's running it officially, he's just doing the paperwork. Lara Trump's overseeing everything, okay? She does the big picture. She's in charge.
Hiring. She's doing all the hiring.
She's in charge. President Trump's in charge, but she's President Trump's direct representative.
They fired like the entire staff.
Yeah.
They're rehiring all new people.
So the RNC, the Trump RNC, is saying that they may not allow NBC into the Republican convention because of the way they treated Ronna McDaniel. And I think that is beautiful. Why should we let these animals into our convention? They're not there to report.
No.
They're there to push an agenda. The problem, the press has many problems. One of the problems they have is they're not really media, okay? They're an arm of the deep state, and they're there to push an agenda that the deep state wants pushed. So they're not real journalists. They're all fake news, and really they serve no purpose in being there. There's nothing good is going to come out of it. So I think that's the smart thing to do, and I'll tell you, it really does look like there's going to be no debates this election, which is fine with me. The thing with the debates, the reason the debates, and I know people, I don't want to hear about Lincoln Douglas, okay? The reason these televised debates happened is because TV was new, and Kennedy was a young guy relative to, running for president and stuff. He was a young guy. He was a TV guy. He was a hipster. So TV was new. It was hip. He wanted to do it, and it became a thing. It serves no purpose now. It's been completely weaponized, the debates. They're one-sided. They literally cheated in the first one. They Donna Brazile gave the questions to Hillary so she could rehearse them for the CNN debate. It wasn't enough that she's got all the reporters on her side. And even that thing with Megyn Kelly, you called Rosie O'Donnell. These reporters, they go in trying to make a name for themselves by being inappropriate with whoever the Republican is. They serve zero purpose. There's no benefit out of them. And the time has come for them. The way things are now with social media, especially with President Trump, what they're about. Their positions. Them. You're closer to them than you have been with any candidates because they're on social media all the time. There's no need to do this. And I hope that the debates never come back. I don't think they serve a purpose at all. If Ron
DeSantis ever got the nomination, he loves debating.
He's
Even
awful
though
at it.
He sucks at it.
He sucks at it.
But he loves to do it for some reason.
No,
he's horrible.
I think it's wonderful.
So I don't think it's gone for good. I
hope it is.
I just think it'll be gone. I don't think it'll happen. There's no way Biden's going to debate Trump. That's not going to happen. But Trump's going to keep asking him to.
Oh, yeah.
But he won't. He'll just
say,
I'm not going to acknowledge him or there's a, that's, I don't think they're going to debate each other, but I don't think it's gone forever.
The only way I would approve of a debate, I would say it's okay to do, is if there were no moderators and the candidates asked each other questions. That I could see, and that would be good. I mean, it'd be hard to control it. There has to be some control mechanism, but I would like that if the candidates asked each other questions, as opposed to back in the days when, I give you an example like Meet the Press. Okay, back in the days when the debates were new on television and you had Meet the Press, like that Sunday show. If you go on YouTube and look up the old Meet the Presses, they would have a candidate, like they'd have Senator Kennedy on, who was John Kennedy, not that scummy Ted. They'd have John Kennedy on when he was running for president. They would have members of the newspapers, the top newspapers in the country, and they would ask questions. It was like an editorial board meeting.
Yeah.
That's so dated. It serves no purpose anymore. And we really need to shut out this old legacy corporate media because their time is over. They've this thing they did this week with Ronna McDaniel, even though we don't like Ronna McDaniel, they showed their true colors. Yesterday when President Trump went to the police officer's funeral dinner in New York, CNN and MSNBC did not even cover it.
Yeah. No, I think people are pretty fed up. I mean,
President Trump paid off the mortgage.
I know.
And
they're not going to report anything that if they don't report it, it's because it makes Trump look good. They're not going to report anything that makes him look good in their eyes. They're only going to report what they think makes him look horrible, whether it's made up or not. They don't care. But they're not going to report anything.
Did you hear the end of the radio show this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll tell you guys a little bit about what happened, a little bit behind the scenes. Okay. President Trump went to Officer Diller's funeral yesterday. Right. He made a big donation to Tunnels to Tower. Right. Tunnels to Tower then paid off her mortgage. Right. And let me tell you something. The way Kathy and I, we donate to Tunnel to Towers every month, have for a long time. Mm-hmm. And you guys should too. It's what they do is great. Now, then Real America's Voice, which is a great news outlet that the great Steve Bannon shows on, they reported that Trump told them to pay off the mortgage. The way Tunnels to Tower works is they have a list. It's almost, I wouldn't say a waiting list, but you don't just go in one day and all of a sudden you get your mortgage paid. Trump gave him the money and told them to use it to pay off her mortgage, and they did. Right. This lady calls me up at the end of the radio show today, and she was just so pissed about it. She's like, I didn't hear that. You said that. I want to hear that story. So I pulled up the story and I played it where the guy reported it, and she didn't want to hear it. And then she told me, she says, I'm from Massapequa. I know those guys. I will call them up, whatever, right? Whoever she knows, if she knows anybody, is not the guy that Trump deals with, all right? And even if he was, he's not going to divulge his private conversation with the president. And I said, she was really annoyed. She was very upset. And I said, why does it bother you so much? Why are you so pissed just at the idea that he paid off the mortgage? And she couldn't even articulate it. And at the end of the radio shows, the show's over. We have people on hold still. We rarely get to all the calls. And on Friday's show, like today, I had a full board of calls and the show was over. No more time, right? And there's a full board of calls on hold. And I often end the Friday show by saying, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll be back here Monday morning. And if you're still on hold, okay, you'll be first in line on Monday morning. And this lady that was annoyed that Trump paid the mortgage off, she said, you said people can hang on all weekend and then be first in line on Monday. I'm going to hold. And I said, okay, I put her on hold. And she stayed on hold. She may still be on hold at the radio station. I'm not there. She was just so enraged.
You think she's going to stay on hold all weekend?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
I guess you'll find out Monday if she's the first caller.
It was some of the worst Trump derangement syndrome I've dealt with one-on-one in quite some time. And and Kathy, it made absolutely no sense. She was totally irrational about it. And for the life of me, why would it upset a woman so much that Donald Trump paid off the mortgage to a widow whose husband was alive Monday morning, who's now going in the ground tomorrow, who was killed by a thug? I don't understand why that would bother her so much that Trump did that.
You'll have to ask her.
I mean, it was so bizarre.
Crazy.
I mean, you would think some things are bipartisan, right? Wouldn't it be a good thing if Trump paid off her mortgage?
I would think.
Now, there was a story yesterday.
Well, no matter how you feel about Trump, I think that's a good thing.
And he's the only president I know of that's paid for anything out of his own pocket. He didn't even take a salary, right? Yeah, I mean, the Trump derangement syndrome is so bad in this woman that she's pissed off that he paid off a widow's mortgage. And then I had another never Trumper. This guy, he said he was a never Trumper. I can't remember if his name was, I think it was Steve. He says, this is never Trumper Steve.
Yeah, I heard his
from
call.
Martin County. And this guy was bizarre. And, you know, I've told you guys that a lot of these Republicans who run around telling you, I'm a Republican, but I don't support Trump, they're fake. They're Democrats, right? And this guy says, I'm never Trumper Steve from Martin County. Martin County is, I call it MAGA Martin County. It is the most pro-Trump county in Florida, and we're the most MAGA state, right? And, you know, so he says that just to piss off people in Martin County because, you know, they listen. You know what I mean? Because I would say MAGA Martin County. And, in fact, I made a YouTube video, the most MAGA county in America. It's a pretty good video. You guys should see it. It's on my YouTube channel. So anyway, he says, I'm never Trumper Steve from Martin County. And so I said, okay. So we go back for a little bit. I said, you're going to vote for Joe Biden because Trump's our nominee. It's not official yet. We haven't had the convention. He's going to be the nominee. He says, I'll either vote for Biden or I won't vote at all. And not voting is voting for Biden. And I said to him, you know, this never Trumper act that you're pulling, that I'm a Republican and I'm going to vote for DeSantis or Nikki. You can get away with that crap when there's a primary. The primaries are over. Right. So now you're telling me that as a Republican, you're going to vote for a guy who erased the southern border, supports abortion on demand. He's going to raise the Trump tax cuts are going to expire. He's going to raise everyone's taxes. You're fake. And I'm a Republican. So I said to him, never Trumper Steve, he called himself. I said, you're a Republican. I said, tell me why you're a Republican. He couldn't do it. It was hilarious. And for the life of me,
next time he calls, ask him why he doesn't like Trump.
Yeah. Well, for the life of me, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I really do. This is not sarcasm at all. I don't understand why all these people hate Trump.
I don't either.
I understand why the Washington people do, because they're all crooks and they're on the take and they're bribed by the donors. I'm talking about regular voters and people in our country.
I don't get it either.
I don't understand it. You know, he gave us the largest tax cut any of us have ever had. I mean, which is amazing. We have those taxes now, those tax cuts in place now. All the Democrats take them. And don't believe this crap that they're for people that earn $400,000 a year or more. No, they're middle. Donald Trump gave us the largest middle class tax cut in the time that I've been in the workforce, and you know, and it's amazing. And these people,
the country was doing great, and you know,
and it will again.
Then things happened, and now it's not doing so great. And
that's
in
right.
fact, there's a new website, Biden-Mart.com. Which a Trump super PAC put up, Biden-Mart.com, and it has a list of groceries, and you click on the ones that you buy, and it tells you what they cost you 3 years ago as opposed to today. And I did it, and I clicked about 3/4 of the groceries. I don't buy everything they have on there, but anyway, like lamb chops and stuff. Maybe that's Trump's personal grocery list. And I clicked on certain things, like 3/4 of the list. And it's 46% higher than I would have paid 3 years ago. I mean, we all feel it. We all see it. And, you know, people are seeing this every day. This is what liberals do not understand. When they fill up their car, when they buy groceries, when they live their life.
Kathy, I went and got a sub yesterday.
They see the price. Yeah, fast food's gone way up.
I went and got a sub yesterday. It was $14.
That's what's really turning the young people against Biden is the cost of burgers in particular. This one woman, I read an article, would go to McDonald's as a treat, like, you know, to feed her family of 4, like once a week. You know, she get like the kids' food and this and that. And she said 3 years ago, I could feed the whole family for like $20, $25. And now it's like $40, $50, so they don't go anymore. And this is in California because Gavin Newsom is forcing these restaurants to pay.
You mean Gavin Newscum?
Newscom. He's forcing them to pay like $20 minimum wage and all this stuff. And so now there's a lot of companies that are. I just read an article on another company. I can't remember the company. They just fired 2,000 people in California because Gavin Newsom was forcing them to pay a certain amount, and they can't do it. They can't stay in business and pay these people. Yeah. So they fire 2,000, and they're doing everything automated now. I mean, this is what's happening because liberals can't leave anything alone.
Nope.
They're control freaks. They never stop having the compulsion to control. They think they know better than everybody, and they just F everything up. I'm sorry, but they do. Everything they touch turns to shit, as Trump likes to say, and that's the truth. Does. Now, I mean, look at these cities. Look at what they're doing. Look at how they run everything into the ground with their stupid ideas. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, they're just stupid people.
Yeah,
They have no common sense.
I can't disagree with anything you said. I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And if you would like to support the program by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this episode. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode of the podcast. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Alice, Richard, Maria in Texas, David, Heather, ActicFox, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, and Brandon, our newest top Patreon supporter. Thank you so much for your support.